Hey guys, welcome to or welcome back to the Sim and K Way. It's Sim, and for today's video I'm going to be doing a recap of my sophomore year at the Howard University. So I was debating about how exactly I was going to do this video. So I'm just going to include some pictures if I have it, depending on what topic I'm talking about, and just kind of go through I guess the main parts of a year in college. So let me just pull it up. So I'm gonna start and I'm just gonna go down the list. If you see me looking down, I'm looking at my phone. So anyways, we're gonna get right into it. So the first thing on the list to talk about, of course, is academics. My GPA, both semesters, how did it go? So this year, like I said in my Howard advice video for incoming students, I like to sit crisscross applesauce, so let me fix myself. Okay, so I got a lot more into the legal communications scheme. If you don't know, I'm a legal communications major pending dance minor. I auditioned for the dance department, got in, yay. But everything, because of Corona, I can't really pick out those classes yet. I don't even know if my advisor knows. I'm waiting on the dance department to tell me what to do next, blah, 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 blah. So that's pending. But like I was saying, I got more into my legal communications courses. So I'm not gonna go through everything that I had because it's going to take me a minute. My brain is probably going to really have to stretch, but off the top of my head, I don't know which semester. Ethical issues in communication. That's a class that you would take as a legal communications major. Not even just a legal communications major, just probably communications in general. What can you say, what you can't say, what's all that type of stuff. And then I had communications law this semester. That class was very legal, I don't really know how else to say it. Communications law talked about did I not learn anything? Why can I only think about the fact that we talked about pornography? Privacy rights, privacy issues, what you can and can't do. Oh my god, what is the word? It's on the tip of my tongue. Libel laws. Oh Jesus, that was a big thing that we talked about. What they're allowed to do, trespassing. It was a pretty good class, very informative. Principles of persuasion, different classes like that. So that was good. Overall, first semester, I do not remember what I got. It was definitely in the 3s, of course. Then this semester, I got all A's and 2 B's. The two B's were in communications law and intro to African American studies because my professor, I'll just leave it at that. So overall, my academics were good. The hardest classes that I had first semester, tech writing for pre-law, tried to take me out of the game. It was a lot of work. He taught us how to write legal memos. He taught us how to, we would get a certain, oh my god, we would get a little mock-up. We had to end up writing a case brief for our final. It was a lot, but I finished that class with a B, and let me tell you, I am proud of myself because it was very difficult, guys. I'm not even capping. I really thought that class was going to take me out. And then to go in hand with that, philosophy, you have to be a crazy person to like philosophy. I commend you guys. That man was just everything was just so ambiguous. Well, this leads to that, and is that correct? I don't like that. Here we go. There's always something in my throat. Freshman year, my first semester, I got a 3.8. I wasn't playing. Freshman year, my second semester, I think I got a 3.3. So overall, staying in the 3s as best as I can. But if anything, I finished better this semester. This year, second semester, than I did freshman year, second semester. So that's good. Next, dorm life. What was the roommate situation and where did I stay? If you saw my Q&A for incoming Howard students, then you know that I stayed in College Hall South. In freshman year, I stayed in College Hall North. So South is literally the older cousin to CHN. It's bigger.
Yes, sir. Oh, all right, man.
It's just bigger, really. So my roommate situation, I had no triple, no more. That was gone. I did have a roommate. We didn't really talk, which was, I suggested you at least are on a speaking basis with your roommate. Like, we would speak if we had to, but it wasn't a natural flow of things. And I think it's just so important for you to have conversations with people you live with. So please do not be like me. I just found it very hard to connect with her. She likes to stay in the room a lot, and I didn't like to be in the room. But when I did come back to the room and I had a guest or a guest, I wanted to have the room. And it kind of just, to me, like, we clashed there because I couldn't even ever just have, even if I didn't want guests, like, I couldn't just have the room to myself because 9 times out of 10 she was in there. Luckily for me, she ended up moving out, like, out of Howard, I think. Just, I don't know all the details. Like I said, we did not talk. So the first week of second semester, it's just a lot of numbers that are trying to fight me in my head. She came back but was packing up her things. Instead of like bringing her things back, she was packing her things up to leave. And I'm like, really? Like, so I ended up with a single that was not, I didn't pay for a single, I paid for a double. I ended up with a single, and nobody ever moved into my room. And some people I knew like ended up getting a roommate, another roommate, after the first one moved out. But God was holding it down, so I did not end up with another roommate. Social life, homecoming, bisonettes, parties, darties, and even work study. So let's start off with homecoming. Homecoming this year was so much more fun. And I think it's because first of all, my friends from Detroit, Alexis and Janiyah, came. So that was the best. Because it's like mixing my Howard friends, my at-home friends, and it was just a blast. They had a great time, I had a great time. There were a lot more kickbacks. You also have more friends, like you kind of established who you like, who you don't like. It was I had a great time, like truly had a great time that entire weekend. So that is something that I can say that was better this year. Bisonettes. So I honestly think that I had I don't really have that much to say though. Like, I think I had more fun freshman year because it was just like more exciting. It is cool though, sophomore year, because it's like you're officially a vet. Like, this is your second time around. I do this, I know this, you know. So yeah, I don't really have much to say about bisonettes. It was cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this year, honestly. Parties, darties, and all that jazz. So I found that this year I was doing more of like kickbacks than parties. So that leads me into my next point, darties. Of course, I'm gonna say that darty season was better freshman year because I actually got to have that experience. Sadly, we had to leave school. So we went to one darty was thrown, and that was a great time. But the whole springtime at Howard was not a thing this year, and it saddens me so much because that is the best time, in my opinion. You get to show a little leg. I mean, if we're being quite honest, it stays very hot in DC. So in August through September, almost till October, it's hot. So you can still get that whole dress or whatever, but darties I don't think are as prevalent or common as they are in the springtime. So I can't say that the darties, I can't really comment on the darty part for sophomore year because it didn't exist. So definitely freshman year was better by default. Regular parties, like I said, I was more of a kickback girl because once again, your friend groups are kind of expanding, mixing with other groups, and I just found that I prefer to be chilling and at people's kickbacks, which aren't always a success, because if you go to a kickback with somebody that you don't really know that well and there's a whole bunch of other people that you don't know, it's kind of trash. So I kind of prefer it when my friends threw kickbacks and then I met like guests, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to at least know one of the people who's throwing it. And then work study, this is my first year doing work study. I'm about to put you a little hit, give you some, I don't know if this is like a golden nugget, but I was not eligible for work study. However, over the summer, somehow I just kept calling, like, somebody told me you could get this even if you're not eligible. So they put me on the wait list, and then one day, and like this was like right before homecoming, so it had to be like late September, they called me and was like, we got a position for you. So I said, huh? I started working like a week, like September 29th or whatever. I remember it didn't work out to the point where I had tons of, like, I didn't get paid before homecoming or something like that, or if I did, it was like for a day. So, but work study came in very clutch for me. I worked in COAS, Office of Undergraduate Studies, so like that's the COAS Advising Center. If you can finesse it, like if you can figure out how to be placed on the waiting list, then definitely do. Like, you just have to hound them, because just because I'm not eligible doesn't mean I don't want some money. Next is boys. Has anything changed from freshman year? What do you think? What the heck do you think? Honestly, freshman year was really exciting because it's like, oh my god, all these fine boys, yeah. But like I told you in the other video, it's always a catch, baby. It's always a catch. I found myself unfortunately dealing with some of the same guys from last year, but I won't say that I deal with them heavy. Like it's like they kind of tried to slide in, like, I'm on a different tip this year. Baby, no, they weren't. They were on the same energy, or just like still not giving me what I wanted. I want to go on dates, and like we said in the whole like boys things that we hate that guys do, our guys love to link up. They think that chilling in their room will suffice. Not all. Maybe it's just the ones I'm picking. It might be the ones that are hitting me up. But all in all, I ended up, you know, meeting somebody new, and it was cool. It was straight, ups and downs, blah blah blah. But nothing serious overall. Like, I didn't meet anyone that was just like, wow, you're my person. None of that happened, unfortunately. And that's okay. I think that's okay. So all in all, has the boys situation improved from freshman year to this year? Hate to say it, but it's a no. Okay, so things that I am proud of. I'm just proud that I stayed on top of my grades, you know, like was doing what I had to do. One thing that I still haven't done is get off campus more. That's something that I'm really looking forward to. I want to be out there. I want to be able to see DC more. I mean, in the heat, I have to say, I have to speak on what's going on right now. Everything that's going on with the aftermath of George Floyd, I don't really know what the state of DC. I mean, by the time we get to school, things might be handled. All I have to say is that if you didn't know, I stand with the entire Black Lives Matter movement. I stand with the protesters. I stand with everyone who is fighting to be heard. And if you have a problem with that, this is not the channel for you guys to be subscribed to, because Kayla feels the exact same way. I just want to put that out there. I feel like it's ignorant for me to like be making videos and saying things and not talking about what really matters. And that is that people are going about these things, like, you know, the rioting, in the best way that they can. They're in pain and they're hurting, and I'm just as outraged and enraged. So maybe I'll put links in the description box about how you can donate, because I have been donating, and I want everyone, if you haven't signed a petition, if you haven't done anything, then you basically agree with what's going on. And that's an issue for me, because if you are not Black, if this was happening to your people, you would be just as outrageous as we are. So let's just keep that in mind. And that's also another reason why I will always rock with Howard, and I will always rock with HBCUs, because it's just a time. For 4 years you get to be appreciated by your professors, by your classmates, by just people who go to the university, and like cultivate it. It's not about like, oh, I don't know what people say about HBCUs. Like, everything that I hear is always just ignorance. It does not mean that you can't get a great education at a PWI. I'm all for it. It doesn't matter where you go, Black people getting education. But if somebody were to ask me, hey, should I go to a HBCU or a PWI, I'm always going to vouch for HBCU, just because I want to rep my set. Howard hard, it's expensive. But I'm saying if you can make a way, if you can find a way, if you can get those scholarships, if you can flip it, toss it, however you have to do it to make it work, then do that, baby, because the experience is once in a lifetime. And I feel like whenever I talk about Howard, I get on this rant, but it kind of just goes into everything that's going on right now. For me to feel like if I had to go back to a school in the fall where I didn't feel like I was appreciated, like that I had to deal with racial issues on top of everything else that's that college students come into contact with just being in college, I don't know. I commend people who go to PWIs for doing that because it's hard. So I'm just proud of every black person, every minority who is going to school. So now that I'm done with my little rant, back to my recap of my sophomore year. And I just miss being on campus, to be quite honest. It's been an interesting time in quarantine. If you guys have any more questions, then definitely feel free, like, about how my sophomore year went. All in all, I would give it a 7.5 out of 10. It would get an 8 if I was able to finish out my spring semester. But because of Corona, I will give it a 7.5. What I think in comparison to freshman year, this is freshman year, this is sophomore year. The fun that I had freshman year, definitely right here. My workload was way heavier sophomore year. Of course, like freshman year, it's just, I'm here, like I'm in college. Sophomore year, it's like, okay, I'm in college. Like things are starting to like strap me in. I'm preparing for a career. All in all, I had a great year. Learned a lot, did a lot. So if you guys have any more questions, like I said, then you can drop them in the comment section. Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.
She want the lean, she want the Gucci. I ride with some harness on me, I got the blue cheek. Pull up in a Jeep, I